Namaste. Should have done this before I started. What am I doing? Revelation chapter 10. Next I saw another mighty angel coming down from heaven. He was dressed in a cloud with a rainbow over his head. His face was like the sun, his legs like columns of fire, and he had a little scroll lying open in his hand. He planted his right foot on the sea and his left foot on the land, and shouted in a voice as loud as the roar of a lion. And when he shouted, 7 thunderclaps sounded with voices that spoke. When the 7 thunders spoke, I was about to write, but I heard a voice from heaven say, "Seal up the things the 7 thunders said, do not write them down." Then the angel I saw standing on the sea and on the land lifted his right hand toward heaven, and swore by the one who lives forever and ever, who created heaven and what is in it, earth and what is in it, and the sea and what is in it. There will be no more delay. On the contrary, in the days of the Son from the 7th angel, when he sounds his shofar, the hidden plan of God will be brought to completion, the good news as he proclaimed it to his servants the prophets. Next, a voice which I had heard from heaven spoke to me again and said, "Go take the scroll lying open in the hand of the angel standing on the sea and on the land." So I went over to the angel and asked him to give me the little scroll. And he said to me, "Take it and eat it. It will turn your stomach bitter, but in your mouth it will be sweet as honey." I took the little scroll from the angel's hand and ate it. And in my mouth it was sweet as honey, but after I had swallowed it, my stomach turned bitter. Then I was told, "You must prophesy again about many peoples, nations, languages, and kings." Give me I'm going to take 30-second break here. Okay. Chapter 11. I was given a measuring rod like a stick and told, "Get up and measure the temple of God and the altar, and count how many people are worshipping there. But the court outside the temple, leave that out. Don't measure it, because it has been given to the Goyim, and they will trample over the holy city for 42 months. Also I will give power to my 2 witnesses, and they will prophesy for 1,260 days, dressed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 menorahs standing before the Lord of the earth. If anyone tries to do them harm, fire comes out of their mouth and consumes their enemies. Yes, if anyone tries to harm them, that is how he must die. They have the authority to shut up the sky, so that no rain falls during the period of their prophesying. Also they have the authority to turn the waters into blood, and to strike the earth with every kind of plague as often as they want. When they finish their witnessing, the beast coming up out of the abyss will fight against them, overcome them, and kill them, and their dead bodies will lie in the main street of the great city, whose name, to reflect its spiritual condition, is Sodom in Egypt, the city where their Lord was executed on a stake. Some from the nations, tribes, languages, and peoples see their bodies for 3.5 days, and do not permit the corpses to be placed in a tomb. The people living in the land rejoice over them. They celebrate and send each other gifts, because these 2 prophets tormented them so. But after the 3.5 days, a breath of life from God entered them. They stood up on their feet, and great fear fell on those who saw them. Then the 2 heard a loud voice from heaven saying to them, "Come up here." And they went up into heaven in a cloud, while their enemies watched them. In that hour there was a great earthquake, and a tenth of the city collapsed. 7,000 people were killed in the earthquake, and the rest were awestruck and gave glory to the God of heaven. The second woe has passed. See, the third woe is coming quickly. The 7th angel sounded his shofar, and there were loud voices in heaven saying, "The kingdom of the world has become the kingdom of our Lord and his Messiah, and he will rule forever and ever." The 24 elders sitting on their thrones in God's presence fell on their faces and worshiped God, saying, "We thank you, Yahweh, God of heaven's armies, the one who is and was, that you have taken your power and have begun to rule." The Goyim raged, but now your rage has come, the time for the dead to be judged, the time for rewarding your servants the prophets, and your holy people, those who stand in awe of your name, both small and great. It is also the time for destroying those who destroy the earth. Then the temple of God in heaven was opened, and the ark of the covenant was seen in his temple. And there were flashes of lightning, voices, peals of thunder, an earthquake, and violent hail. Chapter 12. Now a great sign was seen in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, under her feet the moon, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. She was pregnant and about to give birth, and she screamed in the agony of labor. Another sign was seen in heaven. There was a great and red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, and on his heads were 7 royal crowns. Its tail swept a third of the stars out of heaven and threw them down to the earth. It stood in front of the woman about to give birth, so that it might devour the child the moment it was born. She gave birth to a son, a male child, the one who will rule all the nations with the staff of iron. But her child was snatched up to God and his throne, and she fled into the desert, where she has a place prepared by God, so that she can be taken care of for 1,260 days. Next there was a battle in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back, but it was not strong enough to win, so that there was no longer any place for them in heaven. The great dragon was thrown out, that ancient serpent, also known as the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was hurled down to the earth, and his angels were hurled down with him. Then I heard a loud voice in heaven saying, "Now have come God's glory, power, and kingship, and the authority of his Messiah, because the accuser of our brothers, who accuses them day and night before God, has been thrown out. They defeated him because of the Lamb's blood, and because of the message of their witness. Even when facing death, they did not cling to life. Therefore rejoice, heaven, and you who live there. But woe to you, land and sea, for the adversary has come down to you, and he is very angry because he knows that his time is short." When the dragon saw that he had been hurled down to the earth, he went in pursuit of the woman who had given birth to the male child. But the woman was given the 2 wings of the great eagle, so that she could fly to her place in the desert, where she is taken care of for a season and 2 seasons and half a season, away from the serpent's presence. The serpent spewed the water like a river out of its mouth after the woman, in order to sweep her away in the flood, but the land came to her rescue. It opened its mouth and swallowed up the river which the dragon had spewed out of its mouth. The dragon was infuriated over the woman and went off to fight the rest of her children, those who obey God's commands and bear witness to Yah-Usha. Then the dragon stood on the seashore. Chapter 13. And I saw a beast come out of the sea with 10 horns and 7 heads. On its horns were 10 royal crowns, and on its heads blasphemous names. The beast which I saw was like a leopard, but with feet like those of a bear, and a mouth like the mouth of a lion. To it the dragon gave its power, its throne, and great authority. One of the heads of the beast appeared to have received a fatal wound, but its fatal wound was healed, and the whole earth followed after the beast in amazement. They worshipped the dragon, because he had given his authority to the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast, who can fight against it?" It was given a mouth speaking arrogant blasphemies, and it was given authority to act for 42 months. So it opened its mouth in blasphemies against God, to insult his name and his Shekinah and those living in heaven. It was allowed to make war on God's holy people and to defeat them. And it was given authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation. Everyone living on earth will worship it, except those whose names are written in the book of life belonging to the Lamb slaughtered before the world was founded. Those who have ears, let them hear. If anyone is meant for captivity, into captivity he goes. If anyone is to be killed with the sword he is to be killed. This is when God's holy people must persevere and trust. Then I saw another beast coming up out of the earth. It had 2 horns like those of a lamb, but it spoke like a dragon. It exercises all the authority of the first beast in its presence, and it makes the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast, the one whose fatal wound had been healed. It performs great miracles, even causing fire to come down from heaven onto the earth as people watch. It deceives the people living on earth by the miracles it is allowed to perform in the presence of the beast, and it tells them to make an image honoring the beast that was struck by the sword but came alive again. It was allowed to put breath into the image of the beast so that the image of the beast could even speak, and it was allowed to cause anyone who would not worship the image of the beast to be put to death. Also, it forces everyone, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on his right hand or on his forehead, preventing anyone from buying or selling unless he has the mark, that is, the name of the beast or the number of its name. This is where wisdom is needed. Those who understand should count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a person, and its number is 666. Chapter 14. Then I looked, and there was the Lamb standing on Mount Zion, and with him were 144,000 who had his name and his father's name written on their foreheads. I heard a sound from heaven like the sound of rushing waters and like the sound of pealing thunder. The sound I heard was also like that of harpists playing on their harps. They were singing a new song before the throne and before the four living beings and the elders, and no one could learn the song except the 144,000 who have been ransomed from the world. These are the ones who have not defiled themselves with women, for they are virgins. They follow the Lamb wherever he goes. They have been ransomed from among humanity as first fruits for God and the Lamb. On their lips no lie was found. They are without defect. Next I saw another angel flying in mid-heaven with everlasting good news to proclaim to those living on the earth, to every nation, tribe, language, and people. In a loud voice he said, "Fear God, give him glory, for the hour has come when he will pass judgment. Worship the one who made heaven and earth, the sea and the springs of water." Another angel, a second one, followed, saying, she has fallen, Babel the Great. She made all the nations drink the wine of God's fury caused by her whoring. Another angel, a third one, followed them and said in a loud voice, "If anyone worships the beast and its image and receives the mark on his forehead or on his hand, he will indeed drink the wine of God's fury poured undiluted into the cup of his rage. He will be tormented by fire and sulfur before the holy angels and before the Lamb, and the smoke from their tormenting goes up forever and ever. They have no rest day or night, those who worship the beast and its image, and those who receive the mark of its name." This is when perseverance is needed on the part of God's people, those who observe his commands and exercise Yah-Usha's faithfulness. Next I heard a voice from heaven saying, "Write, how blessed are the dead who die united with the Lord from now on." Yes, says the Spirit, now they may rest from their efforts, for the things they have accomplished follow along with them. Then I looked, and there before me was a white cloud. Sitting on the cloud was someone like a son of man, with a gold crown on his head and a sharp sickle in his hand. Another angel came out of the temple and shouted to the one sitting on the cloud, "Start using your sickle to reap, because the time to reap has come. The earth's harvest is ripe." The one sitting on the cloud swung his sickle over the earth, and the earth was harvested. Another angel came out of the temple in heaven, and he too had a sharp sickle. Then out from the altar went yet another angel who was in charge of the fire, and he called in a loud voice to the one with the sharp sickle, "Use your sharp sickle and gather the clusters of grapes from the earth's vine, because they are ripe." The angel swung his sickle down onto the earth, gathered the earth's grapes, and threw them into the great winepress of God's fury. The winepress was trodden outside the city, and blood flowed from the winepress as high as the horses' bridles for 200 miles. Chapter 15. Then I saw another sign in heaven, a great and wonderful one. 7 angels with the 7 plagues that are the final ones, because with them God's fury is finished. I saw what looked like a sea of glass mixed with fire. Those defeating the beast, its image, and the number of its name were standing by the sea of glass, holding harps, which God had given them. They were singing the song of Moshe, the servant of God, and the song of the Lamb. "Great and wonderful are the things you have done, Yahweh, God of heaven's armies. Just and true are your ways, King of the nations. Yahweh, who will not fear and glorify your name, because you alone are holy. All nations will come and worship before you, for your righteous deeds have been revealed. After this I looked, and the sanctuary, that is, the tent of witness in heaven, was opened. And out of the sanctuary came the 7 angels with the 7 plagues. They were dressed in clean bright linen and had gold belts around their chests. One of the 4 living beings gave to the 7 angels 7 gold bowls filled with the fury of God, who lives forever and ever. Then the sanctuary was filled with smoke from God's Shekinah, that is, from his power, and no one could enter the sanctuary until the 7 plagues of the 7 angels had accomplished their purpose. Chapter 16. I heard a loud voice from the sanctuary say to the 7 angels, "Go and pour out on the earth the 7 bowls of God's fury." So the first one went and poured his bowl onto the earth, and disgusting and painful sores appeared on all the people who had the mark of the beast and worshipped its image. The second one poured out his bowl into the sea, and it became like the blood of a dead person, and every living thing in the sea died. The third one poured out his bowl into the rivers and springs of water, and they turned to blood. Then I heard the angel of the water say, "O Kadosh, the one who is and was, you're just in these judgments of yours. They poured out the blood of your people and your prophets, so you have made them drink blood. They deserve it." Then I heard the altar say, "Yes, Yahweh, God of heaven's armies, your judgments are true and just." The fourth one poured out his bowl on the sun, and it was permitted to burn people with fire. People were burnt by the intense heat, yet they cursed the name of God, who had the authority over these plagues, instead of turning from their sins to give him glory. The fifth one poured out his bowl on the throne of the beast, and its kingdom grew dark. People gnawed on their tongues from the pain, yet they cursed the God of heaven because of their past pains and sores, and did not turn from their sinful deeds. The sixth one poured out his bowl on the great river Euphrates, and its water dried up in order to prepare the way for the kings of the east. And I saw 3 unclean spirits that looked like frogs. They came from the mouth of the dragon, from the mouth of the beast, and from the mouth of the false prophet. They are miracle-working demonic spirits which go out to the kings of the whole inhabited world to assemble them for the war of the great day of Yahweh Jebbaut. Look, I am coming like a thief. How blessed are those who stay alert and keep their clothes clean, so that they won't be walking naked and be publicly put to shame. And they gathered the kings to the place, which in Hebrew is called Har Megiddo. The 7th one poured out his bowl on the air, and a loud voice came out of the temple from the throne, saying, "It is done." There were flashes of lightning, voices, and peals of thunder, and there was a massive earthquake, such as has never occurred since mankind has been on earth, so violent the earthquake. The great city was split into 3 parts. The cities of the nations fell, and God remembered Babel the Great and made her drink the wine from the cup of his raging fury. Every island fled, and no mountains were to be found, and huge 75 hailstones fell on people from the sky. But the people cursed God for the plague of hail, that it was such a terrible plague. Maybe 2 more. Chapter 17. Then came one of the angels with the 7 bowls, and he said to me, "Come, I will show you the judgment of the great whore, who is sitting by my many waters. The kings of the earth went whoring with her, and the people living on earth have become drunk from the wine of her whoring." He carried me from in the desert to a spirit, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, filled with blasphemous words. Then I saw a woman sitting in a scarlet beast filled with blasphemous names, and having 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet, and glittered with gold, precious stones, and pearls. In her hand was a gold cup filled with the obscene and filthy things produced by her whoring. On her forehead was written a name with a hidden meaning. Babel the Great, mother of whores and of the earth's obscenities. I saw the woman drunk from the blood of God's people, that is, the blood of the people who testify about Yah-Usha. On seeing her, I was altogether astounded. Then the angel said to me, "Why are you astounded? I will tell you the hidden meaning of the woman and of the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns that was carrying her. The beast you saw once was, now is not, and will come up from the abyss, and it is on its way to destruction. The people living on earth, whose names have not been written in the book of life since the founding of the world, will be astounded to see the beast that once was, now is not, but is up here. This calls for a mind with wisdom. So the 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman's sitting. Also there are 7 kings. 5 have fallen, that is living now, and the other yet is living to come. 5 have fallen, 1 is living now, and the other is yet to come. And when he does come, he must remain only a little while. The beast which once was and now is not an 8th king. It comes from the heaven, and is on its way to destruction. The 10 horns you saw are 10 kings who have not begun to rule, but they receive power as kings for 1 hour, along with the beast. They have one mind, and they hand over with their power and authority to the beast. They will go to war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will defeat them, because the Lord is Lord of lords, and King of kings. And those who are called chosen and beautiful, your faith will overcome along with him. Tired. Then he said to me, the waters that you saw where the whoring is sitting are peoples, crowns, nations, and languages. As for the 10 horns that you saw and the beast, they will hate the whore and bring her to win, leave her naked, eat her flesh, and consume her with fire. For God put it in their hearts to do what will fulfill his purpose. That is, to be of one mind and give their kingdom to the rest. And give their kingdom to the beast until God's words have accomplished their intent. And the woman you saw is the great city that rules over the kings of the earth. I'm gonna check something really quick. Oh. Actually, this might be it. Forgot what I was gonna look up also. I don't know if I'm gonna do ASMR. It's already kind of late here. But let's see. So chapter 17. In King Yah-Usha's name, God bless you all. Amen.